Welcome to the Wise podcast, hosted by me, Kate Conway, and kindly sponsored by ID Verde. They are the UK and Europe's leading provider of grounds maintenance services and landscape creation projects. They actively engage with social enterprises to build them into their supply chain. I'm delighted to be joined by Simon Black today. He is from SlackPress. So you are the founder, one of the founders of SlackPress.
Yes.
In Newry.
Yes, that's us.
And it's Ryan and Amy are the other two.
And John as well.
Oh, and John as well.
John too, yeah.
So how did you get started?
So, I mean, that's what I was just saying to you before we started here, that I had to really think back all those years ago to 2013. So there was four of us in the beginning there. It was John, Amy, myself and Ryan. And we were all pretty much out of work graduates. So a lot of us were, Amy was working in a kind of just temporary job. Ryan was in a call centre. I was out of work, and John had actually got himself a job in the sector as a cameraman. But an awful lot of time then we were just thinking, right, how do we start ourselves in our career? This isn't where we wanted to go. So we all had the skills. We all had different skills in media, and we all just said, why don't we just kind of see if we can do a video for, say, a local charity, a local sports club, anyone who's looking at video that we need to get experience. So we ended up getting a job with Cancer Focus, so down in Armagh, and we made a wee video for them. And it was
So
really
you just knocked their door and said, can we make you a video?
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's how it started.
Well, I like this because you were trying to get in. It's hard to get a job in media.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and there is kind of a bit of a culture of people who are trying to protect their own jobs, and it can be hard, but there are pockets of people who are good. But so you just decided, I'm just going to do it myself. I love that.
I mean, it was more so we just tried to, as you say, you have to get experience somewhere. So we just said, right, well, let's go and just try and get experience then. If everyone's telling us to go get experience, let's go get experience ourselves. And so then we sort of just, that job with the Cancer Focus then it was a men's shed. And it was going out to, so a men's shed.
What's a men's
I see your face there. A men's shed is basically for retired men who go and have a day woodworking. They go, and so it's like a kind of community group where they all come together and they all do exercise together, or so it's a men's group, for retired men. So it's a great, gets them out of isolation, gets them socializing with other men. So we did a little video for them, and we made it very cinematic. We made it very much, I went and interviewed them all, and we made a really great, lovely little video out of it. And the impact that had then on the Cancer Focus, because we didn't really charge them any money, but the impact that it had on them was fantastic. They were able to sell the men's shed, they were able to get more men in, and so for us, it made us see the difference that we could make into these small organisations then, and we were all out of work. So we thought then we applied to the social enterprise programme as part of Invest NI, and built a business plan with a mentor that we had, Stephen McClellan, down in Newry, and then they built us up into a social enterprise. So we actually hadn't heard of what a social enterprise was, but as freelancers, we were kind of doing a social enterprise mission then, so it all just kind of formalised and we got constituted then.
Okay.
And that was it.
And so that was when, 2013?
So that was 2013, yeah. We'd worked, because we actually did a wee news report in 2012 for the Olympic torch coming.
Right.
So that was kind of how we started as a wee group, because we've all been friends over the years, but that was the first time we said, right, let's try and do something. So then a year later, then we were constituted on March the 11th.
11th. And then so what happened next then? You just start making more videos of the same thing?
Again, so our social mission was, at the very start, we kind of said, right, we need to sit down and just think about what our social mission was. As any kind of, a lot of organisations start, say, with a social mission that they really want to tackle. And so they build the business around that.
Yeah.
So we kind of did it in another way, that we had the business, and we had the kind of ideas, and we had the clients. So we had to build the social enterprise mission around that.
Oh, so you were kind of doing it in reverse then, yeah, okay.
So we were told, well, you actually are doing social enterprise things, it's just maybe formalising that as your company mission statement then. So it went for two main strands, which was to support out-of-work graduates. There was an awful lot of people who were graduating from media and arts and just didn't have experience. So we said, let's try and partner them up with charities and small businesses, other social enterprises, so that they kind of repeat that we did then. So long-term unemployed and the underemployed get all their experience, they get the ability to have something for their show reel, and then the charities and social enterprises got a really good video that they could put up on their socials. So
it was win-win.
It was win-win. And then we had our third one was that we always wanted to put out a positive message. So it had to be a positive health message, and it had to inspire other young people or people in the sectors that we were working in. And then the fourth one was just enhancing the general skill-based digital skills of the area. And then that was just what we focused on. And then it just kind of built up. Then we obviously had an awful lot of help with Social Enterprise NI, with Amanda and Juliet at the time, and then Colin has obviously come in. But they were very big supporters. They got us into, because I mean, I think they saw the worth of having a company that was going to, not for profit, and was going to be able to produce good content that would be able to, for all social enterprises to use. So,
yeah, you're right. And especially now, the video content is so important. And a lot of the sort of small organisations like the charities and stuff, they don't have the big budgets to spend thousands and thousands of pounds.
And if you think back 10 years ago, you know, it was even worse, you know, because even in Northern Ireland, we found that Northern Ireland had, video wasn't, it was still a broadcast thing. It was very much, you know, like, it was only television, you know, it was.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wasn't this whole idea of, you know, promoting yourself via video on social media, it just wasn't really a thing. So, like, we feel that we were coming in at the time when it was just starting to ramp up, you know, so we built a product with an awful lot of people then. So it was, it just started becoming more and more popular. And as you say, then these businesses we were working with, the charities, the social enterprises, they wouldn't have been able to go to the big massive broadcast companies to say, I need a video, a 30-second video of us delivering, you know, hot chocolate out to people, you know, in that sort of way. So we kind of said then, right, well, let's just, it's good content at affordable prices, and they can then just get content that they can sell themselves on the international stage then.
As much as anything, though, it can be intimidating. I think if you're a small organisation and you're to even ask that question of, you know, like to look up and find a video production company and then approach them, and then, you know, because they're like, well, we don't know where to start and we don't want to be on camera and we don't want, you know, there's so much involved that is, so you're taking them through that process as well in a way that kind of is less sort of, what do you call it? The wee boy, David and Goliath.
Right, yeah.
The wee boy in the crane.
No, I think an awful lot of that, because I mean, like this, like, see, having a lot of cameras on you, it's anxiety inducing, do you know what I mean? And so an awful lot of the times that whenever we were working with these people, it was very much, it's very relaxed, it's very chilled, it's very much that we were the same people. We were looking at our experience and they were just looking a platform. So it was really easy because to work with these people, because you know yourself, you've been speaking to these people for the last while now, they're so passionate about what they do, and so putting them in front of camera was easy, you know, you could just talk away to them. And so, and that's I think the big thing about the sector, and why we really enjoyed, because those first 3 years were very much, we worked with social enterprises, charities, a few public bodies, but we really saw the impact that our work was having on social enterprises. You know, we had there's a great company on just in the Ravenhill Road there, kind of Rosetta, called Root Soup, and they're a fantastic organisation that we, in partnership with Social Enterprise NI, we did free video. So we said, everyone apply for a free video, it's a competition, and we'll pick, you know, kind of the ones that we want to do. So Root Soup were one of the organisations that we picked then, and they are an organisation, among other things that they do, it's Larch, I forget the full name of it, but Larch, and they had a wee company that they took people who were homeless in and taught them how to make soups and like food and like that sort of thing, and with people with learning difficulties. So put them in together, and they because they found that the people with learning difficulties had no preconceptions of what somebody who's homeless was going through, and the homeless people were happy just to learn skills, and then partnered them together in a social enterprise. So that story alone, you know, just being, because then they went out and sold all the food and just built up the community from that. Like, you know, that's amazing. So, of course, we were going to do video content for them. Do you know what I mean? We did loads of video content. We shared them up across, they were able to use all the content across all their social medias. And it came back to us going, wow, that is our social mission. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. That's really what we really want to do. And especially being in Northern Ireland, it's great to be able to add, do you know, to...
It's good to be able to add. And do you know what I've found more and more from doing the podcast and the involvement I've had with Social Enterprise NI is that there's a wavelength, and everybody involved in social enterprise is on that same wavelength. And it all comes from sort of a passion or something that they're like, there's like an itch they have to scratch, and it's just kind of like, it's a different motivation. And I think that's why it's good to kind of bring everybody together, and you're living the dream there because you're kind of working with people that are on the same wavelength, and that just makes life so much easier. But then you also do other like corporate stuff too.
Well, I mean, so just as you're saying there, I mean, that's social enterprise finds people, I think, is the best way to kind of explain it, because, you know, not a lot of people don't really know what a social enterprise is until they're actually doing it. So so we spent, you know, the first couple of years really becoming self-sufficient was a big thing for us, because we saw all these social enterprises that were making such good, effective change in their communities, and they needed the, you know, the backing of the public and the sort of public bodies. So our biggest aim was to get completely self-sufficient, so that we didn't rely on any funding. We didn't need to bring down any of these the grants or anything like that. So we could just be completely self-funded. So an awful lot of our business plan in the first couple of months, because the big thing about social enterprise, you got to make money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a...
You're an enterprise.
Yeah, you're not a charity. You are an enterprise, you know. So we focused then on making money, so that in the couple of years that, because essentially we were the beneficiaries in that we were underemployed and underskilled. So through the first 4 years of SlackPress, we were able to skill up, we were able to build a career, and we then started targeting the big corporate companies, the big public bodies, the ones that we really knew needed an awful lot of content, and we were at that level now that we were able to do it. In the hopes then that in a couple of years' time, when we built enough credibility, when we built enough of a foundation there, that we could repeat the process, that we could go back to... Now I'm in my 30s now, so whenever we first started, we were early 20s. So we kind of thought, why don't we just do it again with people who are, you know, early 20s? Why don't we just get people who are just out of university, coming out into this landscape and don't really know one, you know, especially now, especially during a pandemic. But so let's just repeat it. Let's just get some more people in. Let's just become their board, and let's see if we can start getting back out to those clients that really we felt we were really making a difference with at the start, and get back into the social enterprise community. So that's what we're doing now. We've got 3 new staff who are young whippersnappers, and they are they're great, and they're very easy to train, and it's fantastic to be able to get back into it and start really pushing that social enterprise message again.
So you're kind of pulling them through, which is so important. When you've been through something, then you need to kind of look around at who's coming behind you that's going through the same thing, and that's it. And then you have essentially created your own Russian doll. So you know, but you've sort of replicated yourself inside yourself.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, I'm gonna steal that if that's okay. The SlackPress Russian doll model.
The Russian doll model.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what you've done. I mean, you've kind of essentially given other people the opportunity to do exactly what you did, only it's more like an incubator. They're more like a little chick rather than you guys were just kind of figuring it all out. You're giving them the pathway.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I think it's that pathway, yes. I mean, it's those 2 social missions that we started off with in 2013. It was to be able to give the underemployed and the long-term unemployed graduates an opportunity just to be able to get their experience and get on the ladder. And then again, because we've went and targeted all the corporates, and we're sort of pushing down into Dublin now, because we know that Dublin clients, I mean, we know that to build more and more money is essentially going to build the company out, is the structures, the foundations there, so that we can help more and more social enterprises and the small businesses. So now that we're able to tackle both those client bases, I feel like we're really just hitting all the social missions now that we started out with in 2013 then.
What keeps you going? Like what?
I mean, that's a great question. I think the fact is that we wouldn't be doing anything else. Do you know what I mean? We have an awful lot of we get an awful lot of joy out of our work. I work with the three people that we started this company with, and they're my best friends, and I get to go to work with them every single day.
There's a lot to be said for that.
You know, and so it's a brilliant experience. I think as well, I really enjoy the content that we make. We work an awful lot with people who are making good change in the world, and I think that Northern Ireland is so small, and even the little ripples that you can make just go such a long way in Northern Ireland. And so I just felt that if everyone was like they had the exact same attitude as those in social enterprise, you know, Northern Ireland's so small, you could make such creative change.
Oh, so much. I know. So moving forward then, what kind of people would you like to connect with, you know, as a result of people watching this or
So, I mean,
listening?
I think in the last couple of years we've made a very conscious effort to get up into the broadcast levels. So we've been working our way into TV and film. We're with the main broadcasters now, and so an awful lot of the original company are tied up with that. Do you know what I mean? To build that and to be able to then, because half our time is also training these next ones coming up. And so I think maybe we've stepped a wee bit away from the social enterprise sector while we've been doing that. And so it's been a couple of years now, and we're kind of just starting to come back to say social enterprises, charities, any small businesses, you know, who can't afford these big, massive budgets for video production or anything like that. SlackPress are here. Do you know, we're here to take those budgets, to work with these people to make a creative digital production and to sell their services.
Okay, so if somebody was interested in having a video, do they need to come to you and say, I want a video and I want this, and this, or will you just take them from the, I know I need a video, can you help?
We take them from the I know you need a video. So it is very much, I mean, because as you said earlier, it's a very daunting process to ring somebody up and say, you know, and I always get the question of how much is a video? How much could I spend on a video? And I mean, it's always the how long is a piece of string? Do you know what I mean? So it's very difficult. But I wouldn't put people off that. I mean, like it costs money. Of course, it's going to cost money. There's people there who are creating your product for you. But what we like to say is to people, what is your budget? Do you know what I mean? What are you available to spend? Because essentially, you can do anything for any budget. It just depends on how much you want to spend on and what's the biggest impact you can make. So anybody who wants, anybody with any bit of money. But even at that, we've had an awful lot of clients in the past who have just come to us exploring the idea of getting some video content and then applying for funding for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we work an awful lot with people who maybe are applying for funds or applying for some kind of way to start a new project. And again, that's something we can work with on people as well, you know, because we've been through every single fund at this point, every single red tape we have.
You know how it goes. Yeah, you can maybe help them with that. So where can people see your work then?
So we are at slackpress.co.uk. There is a brand new website that has been in development for about 18 months.
Okay.
But,
is it ready now or did it go?
No, I mean it's there. So you get to see it. If any of my team watch this, I'm going to get killed for that because I've been pushing that for a while. But so you can see that, and then all the socials. You know, we've got our Instagram, we've got our Facebook and Twitter. But again, if the best way to do it is just pick up the phone, send an email out to simon@slackpress.co.uk, and we'll get you sorted.
Yeah, you're easy enough to talk to and friendly and not scary at all. So people just get in touch and see what you can make, because the videos make a big difference, don't they?
That's it.
As we're showing now.
That's it, yeah.
Thanks again to Simon Black from SlackPress. And also to ID Verde, our sponsor. If you're a social enterprise and you'd like to find out more about opportunities to work with ID Verde, please contact Amanda at Social Enterprise NI.